So I'm going to show you the system. What you're going to do is you're going to have to find PT answers to use. So CalBAR website, right? We all know they have all the previous released essay and PT questions and sample answers. We don't know much about the sample answers except for the fact that there are answers that have been selected out of the thousands of files that were submitted. They're real answers that were completed by a real examinee during the actual time. So these people didn't have extra time. If they have really good answers, it's because they did really well. It's not because they had an extra 5 hours to do it. And we know that these people passed the bar exam. Overall, they scored well enough to pass the bar exam. So, and the other thing is you got to think like the bar examiners have chosen these answers to show everybody else, all the future examinees, everybody, what it is that they want, what they want the examinees to be providing on exam day. This is what they're trying to elicit from you. So don't think that they're not good answers just because you know what score they got. I feel like there's a lot of, it's like a bad rap for sample essays and answers. People are like, oh, it has, you know, inaccurate rules of law, or has this or has that. Yes, there might be one or two things that are not correct about any given sample answer, but overall, this person passed the exam, it scored well enough, and it's an example of what the bar examiners would like to show you. You know, I don't think they want to read a bunch of crap, so they're probably trying to show you what to do so you can do it well and provide it to them. It's not like this massive trick that they're trying to play. So, get the CalBAR answers, the sample answers. There's 2 of them right there. For this little tutorial, I'm going to be talking about the July 2010 Performance Test A. So what I've done is I've gone to the CalBAR website, I've printed out the answer 1 and answer 2, and also on my blog, beagoat.com, I have a page called Sample Essays and PTs. And what this is a compilation of essays and PTs from people who have taken the bar exam and unfortunately have failed, but when they receive their scores, they have gotten a really strong score on an essay or a PT. I only accept grades of 70 or higher. So if you're looking for examples, you can look there. And I have, someone had sent me an answer for this exact PT, and they had received a score of 70 on it. So it's a strong answer. We know what their score is. So that's 3 answers right there. Now, you could also go to a website. It's called baressays.com, and what it is a compilation of you know, tons of scored essays and PTs. So the person who owns this website purchases scored essays and PTs from prior you know, bar examinees, obviously people who have failed, or else they wouldn't be getting their scores back. And you can sort by all different ways. You can sort by PTs or essays, by subject area. You can sort by score. So what you can do is, if you decide to subscribe to that service, I think it's $75, and it gives you free reign, and I believe it's it gives you a subscription until the next administration of the bar exam, and then so it's like six months basically, like if you start at the, you know, if you start right away, and then I think it expires after the bar exam, and then you could buy another subscription if you needed to. So that's how it works, the length. But during that time, you get access to the whole catalog of essays and PT answers, and there are, I think, like thousands. So you can go there, you can look for the particular PT that you've taken, see what they have for scores, what they have for answers. I want to make a note here, I do not recommend looking at any answers that have gotten a poor score. I believe that the way to learn how to do something well is to learn how to do it from people who already know how to do it well and who have been successful. So there are so many things that you can do wrong. You don't need to look at every wrong or poor scoring answer to figure out what not to do. I mean, that's not what we're spending our time on. We all have our own issues and what we're doing wrong and what we can improve. So look at what is being done correctly, what the bar graders are liking. Use those answers. So for this PT tutorial, I have those 3 answers, the CalBar and then the one off my website. I'm sure there's plenty on the baressays.com website. So if you get a subscription, you can, you can get extra answers. So what you want to do once you have your strong answers for the PT you took is you want to have a system where you can break them down incrementally so you can understand and digest the different sections and what they did correctly. So what I would recommend is getting highlighters, colored highlighters. You can use like the rainbow, well, I guess I'm calling it the rainbow system now, where you use red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. And each color you can highlight that has a different meaning. Like on each answer, maybe your highest level of organization, which on a memorandum of points and authorities is probably, well, it might be a fax. They might, it depends on whether or not they're going to have you do, a section where you need to, recite the facts and stuff like that. Or, but the actual meat of it, like the analysis, is going to be the headings. So, your main headings, and then so that could be like your red, and then your orange could be the next level of headings. If you have subheadings or subsections, that would be your orange, and then your rule statements could be the yellow, your analysis could be green. And so by doing this, go through the sample answers, highlight, break it out so that you can see, hey, this is the highest level of organization, this is the subsections, these are the rule statements. And that way, if you do that on each answer, you can look at just all the red across the board. You can compare apples to apples on the different answers, and that's going to help because you're not going to get distracted by all this other stuff. You're just going to see, hey, what were the major headings, and find out what did, say you have 4 answers to look at, what did all the answers have in common? Maybe one of them was an outlier and had kind of a weird heading or did something differently, but the other 3 all had the same main heading. They quoted the same statute or something in the heading. So you are going to know from that these are all strong answers. They all had the same thing in common. Did my answer have that? And, be harsh on yourself because the grader's not going to be nicer to you than you would be to you. You might have had it in your head. You might have thought you had maybe clearly written it out. But if it's not clearly spelled out on, in black and white, then you're not going to get credit for it, even if you thought you had articulated it well. So, so be harsh with yourself and look, did I have that? On heading 1, did I quote that statute? Did I basically say the same thing that these others did? If not, then, you missed that. So same thing with the subsections and those headings, the subheadings. Same thing with rule statements. When you're going to start looking and evaluating, what the legal rules were. What should you have been getting out of the library? Maybe you got, maybe there was like a 4-factor test and you missed a factor. Maybe you only had 3, and then you see by looking at all these other answers, hey, it was a 4-factor test. I missed a factor. It could be, elements. It could be you got the wrong case. Maybe you used law that wasn't good and you missed that. You weren't paying attention maybe to the year of the case or the court that decided the case, things like that. So if you are able to look at each answer apple to apple and see, on all my yellow levels, this is what they all got, except for me, I didn't get it. Or I got it. That's great. Then you realize you're catching things, and you would have done well because hey, I printed out this score and this was an 80 PT, and then these 2 are from the CalBar website, and I got the same thing they did. So that you will have gotten points in that particular area.